Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 4.4, solve by completing the square for quadratics. So before we even get started, just recall or remember that we have we've completed squares before. This is not our first time. We used to use it when we were going to vertex form from general form. Right? So when we went from general to vertex, we also completed the square. It's the same skill set. Now you're solving by completing the square. So before we do that, let's just keep in mind some interesting and important information. So here we have 2 times 2 equals 4. I hope everybody is good with that. The other thing that's important is negative 2 times negative 2 equals 4. Another way to write both of these things is 2 squared equals 4, or that negative 2 squared equals 4. If you keep that in mind, that means that the square root of 4 is either one of those options. We don't know which, so it's both. So that's why we have a plus minus 2, or we have a negative 2 like this, and a positive 2 like this. Alright, so keep in mind when you square root something, you always have a positive and a negative answer. So make sure if you square root, you have both. Alright, let's do some basic examples and work our way up. So here, if we're just trying to solve for the x, what we can do is we can take the square root of x squared, right? And the square root of 4. So we're doing the same thing to both sides. That allows us to cancel the square root with the square, which allows us to write just x equals square root of 4, which means x is positive 2 or negative 2, just like the last question. Okay, but now let's take a look at a slightly more complicated version. This one we can do it one of two ways. The first one is to move the 9 over. This is my default and probably yours as well if you do know how to solve this. To move it over, we have to add by 9 on both sides. So x squared equals 9. So if we square root on both sides, right? Square root, then we're left with square root of 9 is x, because the square root and the square cancel, which means that we're left with positive and negative 3. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but we can do that already. So what about completing the square? What does that mean? Well, this one actually not yet, but what if we factored it? So we can factor this as a difference of squares, right? Because this is, we can take the square root of that, and we can take the square root of this, and we have a difference of squares. And if we have that as a difference of squares, we know that our answer is negative 3 and 3, which is the same answer, surprise, surprise, as when we did it the other method. So both methods work. So this is a good proof of the fact that if you take a square root, it actually equals the positive and the negative answer at the same time. And it looks like some of these became capitals, and I didn't change it back. Ignore that. Pretend these are lowercase. Okay, I'm going to do this one here, unless you already can, in which case pause it, try it out. I'm going to do this first one, and then the second one I want you guys to complete before I do it. So to complete the square, what we're going to do is we're going to take the first number, or sorry, the number with the x, okay, and we're going to divide by 2, so we get 4, and then we're going to square it, so we get 16. Okay, so this is the number we want to add on both sides. So we're going to rewrite the question. But we're going to take the 16 and we're going to add it on both sides. Okay, now that we've done that, we can rewrite it out as x plus, and where is this coming from? There's a 4. Where is that coming from? Right here. So x plus 4 squared equals 36. So that's 20 plus 16. Okay, and now we're just solving for x. So what we're going to do is take a square root of both sides in order to cancel out with the 2, with the squared. So now we're left with x plus 4 equals square root of 36. And so what we need to do is go x plus 4 equals positive and negative 6. And when we move the 4 over, we're going to have minus 4. So there's actually two situations going on here. And we need to make sure that we're writing down both. Okay, so the first one is that x is plus 6 minus 4, which is 2. And the second one is x is negative 6 minus 4, which is negative 10. So there's actually two answers here of negative 10 and 2. So by completing the square, we were able to get that answer, or those answers. It also should be no surprise that there are two answers, as this is a polynomial function, a degree 2 quadratic, which means that that our graph, if you don't recall, should look something like this, or like this, which means it actually has 2 points where it hits the axes. Okay, go ahead and try the next question on your own. So pause the video right here, try the next one just like I did the first one here. Alright, if you haven't yet, pause the video. I'm going to start working on it. So we are going to take the negative 12, we're going to divide by 2, we get negative 6. Then we're going to square that, and we're going to get 36. So now we're going to rewrite out our equation. It's the same steps as the last one. Equals 44. And we're going to take the, we're going to take the 36, and we're going to add it to both sides. Okay, once we do that, it allows us to write down our square answer, which, if you notice from the last question, we're doing the same thing here. We're taking it from the same spot. Okay, and those other two numbers will add up to... Oh, not big enough. I'm going to change this number. Otherwise, it's not going to work out as a nice even number. Sorry about that. Okay, anyways, it's going to add up to 81. Okay, maybe you need to pause the video and continue it, finish it off. Alright, so we have x minus 6. Oh yeah, we have to take a square root on both sides. So we have x minus 6 equals the square root of 81. So we can rewrite that out as x minus 6 equals positive negative 9. Which means we can rewrite that out as x equals positive negative 9 plus 6. And now we're going to write out our two situations. So where we have a positive 9 and where we have a negative 9. Okay, in the positive 9 situation we get 15. The negative 9 situation we get negative 3. So x equals negative 3, comma 15. Alright. I hope that this video helps you guys understand how to complete the square and solve quadratics using this method. Good luck!